Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Yesterday the Star Wars fanbase absolutely blew up with brand new news of some of the original concepts that were kicking all around Lucasfilm before the rewrites to the Kenobi series. In fact, some major reveals were let go, including Dave Filoni pitching to Lucasfilm the idea that Darth Vader should be the main antagonist in the Kenobi series, as well as details prior about the plot, as well as the previous villain we all know as Darth Maul. So we're here to break it all down for you today, and hopefully by the end of this video we can have a better idea of what the original Kenobi series was going to look like. As we know, nearly 2 years ago at this point in time, it was announced that the Kenobi show was being put on permanent hold, with many fans at the time speculating that the show may have actually been cancelled permanently. However, we know now that a lot of the rewrites were going to take place that would shape the Kenobi series into what we know now. That being a story that would highlight Obi-Wan's exile and his reconfrontation with Lord Vader himself, creating it as sort of a spiritual successor to Revenge of the Sith, something that we learned thanks to the Hollywood Reporter article that Dave Filoni was directly responsible for, and that it was Dave Filoni, who very much now has proven himself to be the true gatekeeper of Star Wars, who had this original plot and vision for the Kenobi show. With this though, we also learned some other plot details that were originally in place. The Hollywood Reporter had this to say: Obi-Wan Kenobi will include plenty of familiar faces when it debuts May 5th. But one Star Wars fan favorite will be noticeably absent from the series. Darth Maul, a chief antagonist of Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, who first appeared in Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace, is not expected to appear in the series, but sources tell The Hollywood Reporter not only was the Sith Lord initially slated to return to the live-action Disney Plus series as a key villain, actor Ray Park was in active prep to reprise his role as Darth Maul. That, however, was before those scenes were scrapped amid a creative overhaul that ultimately saw other antagonists, including Darth Vader, added to the show. Hossein Amini was the original writer who worked with director Deborah Chow on the 6-episode series, and while it was reported that pre-production paused in early 2020 because Lucasfilm was unhappy with the scripts, the reasoning behind the pause was a little bit more layered. According to sources, Deborah Chow showed the scripts to Star Wars stewards Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, who were coming off the success of The Mandalorian, freshly launched in November 2019 and deep into work on season 2 of The Mandalorian. Sources note that Filoni and Favreau were concerned about Obi-Wan covering similar ground as The Mandalorian did, the lone wolf and cub-like story of Kenobi coming out of hiding to protect a child-aged Luke Skywalker. Maul was one of the villains who would participate in the hunt for the pair. Vader was nowhere to be found in this far away in the galaxy at this stage in time, according to those with knowledge on the project. Filoni and Favreau pushed Deborah Chow and the show to go bigger, according to several sources. In any case, those concerns made their way to Lucasfilm and head Kathleen Kennedy, who pressed the pause button and eventually appointed a new head writer. It is unclear how along in the process things initially unraveled. A boy was chosen to play young Luke Skywalker, but no scenes with him were ultimately shot. As far as Ray Park's Maul goes, the picture is more cloudy. One source says that Ray Park was on set for pre-production and was also involved in stunt training for the show. The source says footage of Ray Park may have been shot, although another source says it could have simply been test footage. Whatever the case, Ray Park was back as Maul, or so he believed. In the overhaul, however, Maul was written out. One source says it was Filoni that conceptually keyed in our way for Darth Vader to be brought back as the big bad of the series, along with the Grand Inquisitor, a character made popular by Filoni in the animated series Star Wars Rebels, also placed into the story. A Lucasfilm source contradicted this account, saying that Maul was never intended to return for the series, nor did Ray Park ever come to set. The overhaul also led to a new search for a young Skywalker, and a new actor was picked. The Hollywood Reporter has learned that the new cast is Grant Feely, whose credit, according to IMDb, is an episode of Creepshow. Maul stands as one of the more popular villains in Star Wars lore, appearing in animated series including The Clone Wars and Rebels, which depicted the final battle between Maul and Kenobi. But that's pretty much the gist of the article, guys. By what it sounds like here is it sounds as if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke were going to venture off of Tatooine, and we were going to get to see Darth Maul, again played by Ray Park, pursue them. Again, similar to the story of Baby Grogu in The Mandalorian, with Maul, the big bad of the series, pursuing the both of them over the course of the 6-episode arc. However, apparently it was Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau who pushed for the show to become much larger and more important important. Again, a spiritual successor to Revenge of the Sith, making it more essential viewing for the Star Wars franchise as a whole. The fact that they added Darth Vader and that this story is going to continue is the best way they could have taken the story, along with not having to change and drastically alter the final showdown between Obi-Wan and Maul that occurred in animation. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the fact that Ray Park actually returned as Darth Maul for the Kenobi series, and that this was the original conception that was going around all the way back before Kenobi pressed pause, and before a brand new story was reworked with the return of Hayden Christensen and Darth Vader, a far superior story and concept in my humble opinion. How would you feel about this original concept with Darth Maul? And do you feel like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were ultimately right to prompt Deborah Chow to rewrite large sections of the story? Do you think it sounded too similar to the likes of The Mandalorian, and do you like the idea of Lord Vader returning as the main antagonist over Ray Park as Maul? As always, my friends, if you want to stay up to date with everything Obi-Wan Kenobi related, force crush that subscribe button as we'll be covering it all, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.